Just a few words to my person. I'm a really automotive guy. I'm more or less an automotive enthusiast, and I worked in the automotive industry for over 20 years. And as I did so, I pretty much know the limitations and the restrictions and the limits of that auto industry. And based on that knowledge, I have to state that we have completely redefined mobility and create new kinds of sustainable cars. Those cars must be affordable, safe, efficient, clean, emotional, and locally manufactured. Otherwise, we will destroy the freedom of action for future generations. So that's pretty much the summary of what I want to say today, because we have a problem. And sorry, Felix, your kids, you said we should reduce the number of cars on our planet. Actually, we have 700 million today, and we will go up to 1 billion in 2020. This is not basically in Europe and the US, it's in the emerging markets, in China, India, because everybody wants a car. And of course we have global warming, we have the limited energy resources, we all know this, I can be short on that. But what we really feel, in the auto show in Frankfurt just ended, there is no shift to sustainable products. You don't see any really good ideas, really products, it's more or less greenwash and cosmetics. The problem is, if we cannot solve that problem, we have individual mobility which is unaffordable, or for those who can afford, it will be inappropriate to drive cars. So we need to focus on that from that part. And the solution we have here, we do have. Number one is we need efficiency. Efficiency is the key aspect, from production to recycling, from well to wheel. We always have to talk about efficiency. And we need to downsize to the really demands of the people, not just making 2-ton cars for 80 kilo of human being to bring them from A to B. We need to downsize. And we need the new materials, the new designs, and the new technologies. And believe me, we do have that kind of technologies. What we have to do is we have to bring them together in a systemic approach, and then we can change the traditional thinking. And I don't want to stay here in this aspect as some kind of philosophy, because at the end of the day, what counts is facts. And one of the hard facts always is the market. So if we talk about all those ideas, we have to make the right market assumption, otherwise we will be learned a different story. And if you look at the picture here on the left, it shows a very simplified way how cars are. You have a chassis, you have some drivetrain, and you have a head or a head up on the top. The funny thing is, you buy it because it looks good and you feel good in it. You don't care if it's McPherson or whatever transmission system, whatever axle system. That's the reason. So what's the difference now between a BMW and Audi or some other cars? Actually, it's the brand, it's the image which you buy, because technology underneath is pretty much the same. Still, the OEM spend 60, 70, 80% on the green two things, on powertrain systems and on chassis. Actually, the customer pays for the body. So what will happen in future, they will focus on their brand. And this happens already with the first electric cars, because an e-Mini or an e-Smart has the same technology underneath, and they buy it from the same company. So we will have a dramatic change here. And again, what counts will be lightweight and efficiency. So we come up with a strategy how to change that industry. And actually the basic idea was, well, we have to just come up with the right components, lightweight components, with powertrain components. But then we recognized, well, we didn't recognize, we knew already, it takes 10 to 12 years to bring it in an established automotive industry. So we came up to make it visible for others with an own brand. And the own brand only shall be produced in a small series from ourselves, because we want to go to a licensing model with a decentralized production. And the objectives, I can go short a little bit on that. We have companies for each topic, and there's a lot of technologies underneath. Each is already cutting edge technology, but again, the point is a systemic approach. It's not just enough to switch instead of a combustion engine to a battery or electric drive. You have to change the complete car, every bit, every screw, everything on that car to really come to different and new solutions. So here we have engines and motors, we have transmission systems, all here we have lightweight components which can be made without toolings, very important for the underdeveloped countries. And what I want to tell you here is, we focus always on Europe. And we can afford buying 10,000 euro battery sets. But if you look to India, if you look to China, and that's where I, in the beginning, told you the big growth will be, they have only little money, so they will buy what is cheap. So what we have to do is we need technologies which will be affordable for them. We need engines being at Euro 6 level costing $500. This is the target where we have to head for, and that's the totally different approach to a new kind of cars. And this is, for example, a car we come up with, and why it's a commercial van. It doesn't look very nice. People prefer sports cars or shiny cars. But if you go to battery electric vehicles, this is the first place actually, because that kind of small transport systems are used in the big cities. And people who drive them, they can calculate, because they know we are driving 50 kilometers every day, 80 kilometers every day. They can adjust their battery set to exactly their demands. So this is one of the first sets we can use. Again, I don't want to talk about philosophy. We have to talk about physics. And we still spend a lot of money on hydrogen technology, which is a death birth in my opinion, because all the future energy sources will be harvested as electricity. And therefore, electric cars will be the best vehicles to use it. On the other side, we have long distance. And there is no way to use electricity on long distance. So all the oil we have, and even if it's biomass or whatever coming from, we have to use for long distance traveling. So what we intend with the workshop at the end is we want to spread out the project to find enough investment. We are in the very beginning to a systemic approach in new mobility. We want to identify how we can change public and private transport behaviors in the future, because it's always good to speak, but we have to act. And the final thing is we will search for true political leadership, because we have to reorganize our complete energy system also in the field of mobility. And of course, we are happy to get new input from you. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks a lot, Gerhard Heilmeier.